Welcome to the podcast with no name, the podcast that was formerly known as Prince, the number one podcast where we get in deep to all the princey details, us princelings, us princerinos, us princers, as we like to call it. I'm Princer Crittenden, and today we are going to investigate the organs of the artist formerly known as Prince. That's right. I got his corpse. I hired some grave robbers. And it's going to be a special episode, folks. Bring out the first kidney. What's up, Kevin?
Not much, man. That was pretty good. Were you listening earlier? Because the Jim Mahfood a couple hours ago talked about Prince quite a bit.
Yeah, I was listening. I'm a foodie, as I like to call it. One of the trying to come up with just a second thing to say. I'm a blasterite, I think. I don't know. Is that something?
That is, yeah.
Whatever. Fucking jeez.
Did you ever read that story that I think a reporter wrote that was like assigned to do a story on Prince? And like wasn't getting anywhere, couldn't get him to return calls or something. I'm probably getting the details wrong here, but then finally at like 2 a.m, Prince calls him and says, "Hey, we're going to a bowling alley. I just paid the owner to like go open up this bowling alley at 2 a.m. for us. You want to go bowling?" And goes to this bowling alley at 2 a.m. and discovers that Prince is actually an amazing bowler and pool player and like, could probably like be winning tournaments in bowling.
Damn.
That's all the story. There really wasn't much more to that, but it's just that, did not expect that about Prince.
So did he get the interview, or was it just like he tried to ask questions and Prince was just bowling and then it's like, that's all he had?
If I'm remembering right, I think he actually answered questions. Like it was like, "Hey, if you come bowling with us right now, I'll talk to you."
Mm-hmm.
And showed up in the middle of the night bowling.
He probably should have done that instead of the whole music thing, just like the bowling master. He's bowling out of control.
Yeah.
Man.
I kind of wonder what kind of life that is, though. Like if you have the amount of influence to be able to like call up the owner of a bowling alley at 2 a.m. and say, "Go open up for me. I want to go bowling."
I mean, it's got to fuck with you. I'll tell you that, like I've talked to some celebrities, we've had our encounters with some celebrities. Dan's a celebrity. We had Judge Apatow on. The Honorable Judge Apatow.
Married to Judge Judy.
Yeah. No one knows that. It was a nepotism show. She didn't get that on her own. And I'm sure the dates work out on that. But Robin Williams showed up. I don't know. I can't think of probably Robin Williams is the biggest person we ever got on the show, right? We got what's his fucking the old guy, that old motherfucking guy. But I don't think he has as much star power as Robin Williams, right? Is there a celebrity that you think's bigger than him that we have?
No, I think Robin Williams is probably if you're talking purely just Harmontown, I think for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure there's people that would open their bowling alley to Robin Williams. But at the same time, I don't know. It's kind of like a different kind of star power in my mind, I don't know. Certainly, I don't know that he was going around doing that. But at the same time, I don't know who's like ready and be like, "Oh, Robin Williams, but right this way, sir." Which, is not I'm not just in my mind. Like maybe he was that big. Maybe he was bigger. Who knows? But I don't know. Also, it's like, I guess like rock stars and stuff seem to have more star power like that, right? Don't you think? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't mean to judge, but I think musicians generally have more downtime than, say, actors and things like that. Like if you're not touring and you're not actively recording and there's big gaps in between those, you have time to kill. Whereas, actors and things like that tend to be a lot busier and gone a lot and, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I can see that.
So what you're saying is that Prince isn't special. He just had a lot of time on his hands to learn to be the bowling master.
Well, I mean, I'm bored a lot, too, and I don't think I could get a bowling alley to open up for me at 2 a.m.
Well, maybe you haven't found the right bowling alley. Maybe we got to cruise around Chicago and find some likely candidates, do some corporate espionage. I don't know. Man, you know, I don't know. I don't really consider myself a writer, but I know if it's like a spectrum between, not a spectrum, like a dichotomy between writer and talker, I'm definitely more of a writer than a talker. I can't talk. Like my thoughts go at the pace of writing, and they think like writing, where it's always like backspace, backspace, backspace. You can't like backspace speech, you know. You gotta just live with the words that came out and come up with new ones while you're talking. It's a nightmare. I don't know. You know,
Do you think you're funnier written or spoken?
I don't think I'm funny. I don't know. I guess I think when I'm hanging out and in a casual context, it's easy for me to do things that end up being funny than writing. You know, writing is more intentional. I have a hard time being like particularly funny intentionally. Like, I don't know. When I was a kid, you know, you had your class clowns. I wasn't really seen as a class clown so much. I was like a funny kid, but I was always like second or third place behind the class clowns, because the class clowns, they're the ones that are like, anything that comes to mind just immediately out there. They're like trying to score points, put shit up, you know, they're trying to have at bats. They're just trying to get in there when they can, you know, and sometimes they kind of write energy more than anything else. It's not like just about like, oh, this is the perfect joke. It's like, it's my time to shine, you know, sort of energy. Whereas you know, I would have things that were really funny, and sometimes they were funny enough where I was like, I gotta say this, like someone has to hear this funny shit, you know. But it was usually, it's like if there was a toss up, I would let, you know, other people would go first, and I'd be like, nah, they got it covered. We don't need to, you know, do punch up in the classroom, you know. And so yeah, I think that because of that, I'm just not used to just trying to output on command or at a really opportune moment, you know. It's kind of like when I'm joking around with pals, you know, I think I can be relatively funny, but you know, I don't know. Comedians are, or improv people too, like they're good at constantly crunching and making things funny out of nothing. And then, you know, stand-ups are, you know, they write material. They do a lot of thinking and prepping and stuff. I'm sure there's discoveries that they find on stage and stuff too, but a lot of it is kind of like comedy writing, where you're thinking about funny things, you're writing it down, you're rewriting it in ways that go better, you perform it on stage, and that gives you insight into how to rewrite it again. You know, it's a very multi-step process. And like, I don't know, when I was younger, I used to think it could be cool to do stand-up, but man, it seems terrifying to just know that, oh, I'm going to go up and I'm going to bomb for like, if I'm lucky, like 5 years in a row, you know, and then finally I might like have the experience to get good. Like that just, I can't imagine it. I don't even have the confidence to write material down, because if I wrote like a joke that'd be like, oh, this could be a joke that I performed on like a comedy stage at like an open mic or something, and it's like, no, this isn't good enough. This isn't funny, you know? So like, I think that kind of class clown, that confidence, that need to like get it out, like, is beneficial in that. And I don't really have that urge most of the time. I don't know. Like, I think when I am with my friends, it's like, I can do stuff like that a little bit, just because, I don't know, you know, it's like, when's a moment gonna come up again to like make whatever joke floats up in your head, you know? And it's also low stakes, so it doesn't feel like a big deal. I don't know. Oh, let's just take 5 for a bit. You know, we could just keep it rolling. We'll take 5 minutes. We'll come back to this. It'll be a lot less show to do that way. You know, that could be good.
I mean, I like the way you're thinking, but we might want to maybe find something a little bit more interesting for people to watch. Maybe
you could loop a couple screams, cowboy screamings, cowboy screams, and man, I had an idea for a, you know, I don't, we did the Harmontown tour, and there was the Chicken Noodle Man song, and then I came up with a couple like alternate verses for it. Sometimes I think like, man, if I really hone that skill, I could become more of like a, what do you call it? Like not, what does Weird Al do? He does the satirical. What do you even call that?
Parody?
There's a word for it. Parodies. Yeah. See, this is why I'm a writer, because I would look that up and then just write it down. You know, I won't have to start talking until I know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's great. But yeah, I don't know. I think like sometimes I do parody stuff, like usually building off of other things that people post, and then I'm like, yeah, I feel like I could really go somewhere with this. And I don't know. I was coming up with a there's this on TikTok. There was like, I don't know, TikTok kids, they have all these lingos and slangs and stuff, you know. I mean, it's all ripped from, you know, AAVE and trans communities and drag communities and stuff like that, you know, the gay scene. And everyone on TikTok just they hear it and it seems cool, and so they copy it, and it starts to lose meaning and stuff, and it goes really crazy. And but anyway, there's like and then it infects the popular culture too, because I think it gets kind of popularized on platforms like TikTok before it gets to like, say, Twitter or whatever. I don't know. But you know, there was a Tear for Fears cover meme that's you know, Mad World, and it's like there's the famous part of the song that goes, I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad, the dreams of which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. And so like the TikTok memed version of it is, I find it kind of bussin', because bussin' is like when something tastes good or is really good, like if something's off the chain, as my dad might say, and not me when I was younger, definitely my dad. You know, it would be bussin' these days. And then they'd say, I find it kind of cap. And cap generally means lying or not telling the truth or being deceitful. But it kind of, it also kind of, you know, means it can be standed into, and I could get all this wrong, but fuck me, who cares? But you know, it can also mean like bullshit, like if you're like, that's some bullshit, you know, you might say that's cap. And so yeah, I find it kind of bussin', I find kind of cap. The dreams in which I'm dying are the ones that kind of slap. And now songs slap usually. Things can slap, but songs particularly slap when they are busted, for instance. You know, they can really start to slap. And so I was just trying to think of like new lyrics for that, and I was just like, oh, I had a good take that I'm not going to get into. Because again, it's not about me trying to toot my own horn. Again, it's not about me podcasting and trying to make non-boring material. It's not about that. It's just, I'm going to be here wasting your time, you know, and you're going to leave probably, I hope. You know, don't you have any self-respect? Jesus Christ, you think this is good? But then I was like getting excited, being like, man, I could really figure out how to do like a, you know, a version of the song where the guy is like singing it on the TikTok, and then we could cut to me, and then I do the other parts of it. And that's another thing on TikTok that happens, is people append videos onto the end of other videos to kind of further their own comedy and jokes and stuff. And I got stuck trying to find like a decent instrumental cover, because you don't want the lyrics being heard, but you do want, you know, pretty close to the instrumentation. But, you know, copyright law being what it is, it's not easy to find stuff like that. And then I was like, and then I went back to the guy's site who did the song, and he recorded another little bit that had one of my ideas in it. It's like, I didn't even come up with this. Like, I came up with it in my head, but it's like he came up with it probably a couple days before and already had posted the video. It wasn't all of my ideas, but it's just one of them. And I was like, God damn it. Just, Jesus Christ, I can't. This is my fucking life, man. I come up with like a great idea way after someone else came up with it. But, you know, it's still impressive that I could come up with it on my own without needing, you know, to look at this stuff. But, you know, the fact that I didn't do anything with it, or like I came up with it late, or sometimes I have the idea before something, and then someone else comes up with the idea before I can like get off the couch or whatever. And it's like, it's like weirdly validating, you know, because it's like, yeah, there you go. This guy did my idea and it's getting praise and stuff. So it must have been a good idea. You know, I must have had this great idea. But at the same time, it's like, fucking, if you just could you just get off your fucking ass like once in a goddamn while, you might be actually able to like strike while the iron's hot, you know? Have you ever had any ideas like that became manifest? Like, my dad claims to have invented rolling luggage before rolling luggage came out.
You know, I think I've heard multiple people make that same claim.
Well,
Like
I can imagine in the before rolling luggage, looking at it and being like, some wheels on that. Wheels are like one of the earliest inventions, so it seems like a pretty
well, I mean,
straight line.
sorry, we're getting off topic here, but doesn't it seem really strange that how long it took luggage to have wheels? Like that's technology that existed for centuries. And I remember as a kid trying to carry luggage through the airport, killing myself and watching everybody else do it. Why didn't one person think of this?
Yeah, it also seems like something that very cheap solutions or very kludgy solutions could work okay. I could almost imagine just imagine like a Pringles can or something. And then you put 2 rolls of masking tape around it to act as the kind of bearings or something. And then you fill out the middle of the Pringles can so it goes wider than the bearings, and you secure the mask. Like, you could do that, and it would already work so much better than the luggage without being anything more than tape and paper. Like, it would be so easy to just do it yourself. I mean, in my mind at least, who knows? But my mind's genius, so it's probably accurate. But well, as you were saying, we were getting off topic. Let's get back on topic.
Okay.
And for the room, can you remind us what that topic was?
Well, actually, I really like the idea as a new segment on the show of Spencer explains TikTok slang to boomers. Like, I think that would be, we went through bussin', no cap. Like, I think every week we should have like you explain some modern TikTok slang to everybody.
Yeah, tune in next week when I talk about absolutely foul. Yes, absolutely foul. Turns out that one just kind of means the same thing as it means normally. But it's I don't know. Like, a lot of people, they hear this language being used, and they make fun of it oftentimes because they're hearing like little kids like repeat it over and over, and they're like, these kids these days, but I think they don't necessarily understand or remember from the last time that like all this language comes from like marginalized communities and stuff, and like trying to shit talk it is kind of like inherently the same kind of top-down elitist kind of racist classist stuff that oppresses the communities in the first place. It's like, these are perfectly valid means of expression, and if you just don't like it because it sounds weird to you, that's probably because it came from a group that you're not part of. But anyway, back to absolutely foul. But what I was saying is that I just like, one of the things that's fun about TikTok is that everyone's just saying these things. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like 4chan, where everyone's just repeating memes, oh, there's a long cat and stuff, and it's like, for whatever reason on 4chan, I always hated that. Maybe it was because I was like an adolescent and I was like, I go against the grain, man. I'm not going to repeat a meme that someone else came up with, man. That's freaking thought. This is like sheeple talk or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's like the one of the things about TikTok that you realize pretty quick upon looking at it is a lot of people have absolutely no sense of shame, and look where it gets them. Like the shame is a real problem, and discarding it gets major results. It's incredible. All you have to do is kind of not feel bad about things that a normal person might be ashamed of, which is good in a lot of circumstances and bad in others, because people are just like, overtly racist, for instance. But on TikTok, I've come to enjoy the simple pleasures of just repeating all of this. And it's just anytime there's something that feels like it's at all, even if it's like a really bad fit, just to repeat the language is very fun to me. And absolutely foul is the best, because I don't know, it felt kind of forced. If it were on 4chan, you would have called it like a forced meme. But it seems like people smelled that there was a new term in the air, and we're just like, we gotta be using this thing, and so when something, generally speaking, was mean or painful or something, like bad and cringy, whatever, or just wrong, like a bully bullying someone, something like that, people would go like, this is absolutely foul. This is absolutely foul. And then it's just like, but people started overusing it so much, you'd see like a frog like jumping into the water off of a stick, and people would dead ass be like, this is absolutely foul, and it's like, no, it's just a frog jumping into the water. That's not foul. That's a frog, doing his thing, feeling himself. But it's really funny to just like, Like if a dog is like going for a treat and then it hits him in the nose and then you just pop in the comments, this is absolutely foul. It's just like anything where it just does not make any sense. That's probably my favorite thing. Is I guess it's ironic, right? Just going into the comments and posting completely inappropriate TikTok language, and it's just like, so very rarely people will be like, that's not how you say that, or like, what an idiot, or like, this is try hard or whatever. But like most of the time it just kind of goes unnoticed, and I'm just having a blast. Like a lot of people are really making a name for themselves on TikTok and making these big videos that get all these big hits. But for me, I'm just in the comments, like posting comments, like, and you can like the comments. So if I get a comment with a lot of likes, I'm like, hell yeah, this is my art, is posting comments. And it's really fun. Especially when you are just like taking, like with the lowest effort, just taking things other people have said in comments to other TikToks and just repeating them in places it doesn't really work. It's a lot of fun. TikTok's great. If you're ADD, I don't recommend it because you'll just lose large chunks of time and be like, oh my God, how is 8 hours passed? Why does my neck hurt so bad? It's like, but yeah, TikTok's good, you guys. It's better than TV. That's why everyone's cutting the cable these days, because you could just go on TikTok and watch, frog jump in the water, and people are like, this is absolutely foul. And it's like, hell yeah, this is a good spending. This is a good way to spend my time, I don't know. What's up, Kevin?
Not much. Like I told somebody on Reddit I was going to get up with something crazy this week, so I'd have a good answer for you when you asked me that. But I didn't. Nothing happened this week. Absolutely. Where in
Reddit was this?
I don't know. It was on one of the episode posts or something of like there's a drinking game they were saying of like, you asked me what I did this week and I said absolutely nothing. Take a shot. So I was gonna do something, but I didn't.
But you must be doing things. It's not like you go into like a service closet and shut down between shows. Like you're doing, you're sitting around, you're talking to Ariel, you're maybe dealing with a child or something, right? Like, but it's just, it's nondescript, right?
No, all right. That is a good point. But, mostly my day is I wake up in the morning, take the kid to daycare, come back, get some work done, until it's time to pick her up from daycare, bring her back home, have dinner, watch a movie or something with Ariel until it's time for bed. And then I repeat the next day, Yeah. Yeah. What does an average day to you look like?
Okay. So I wake up around 6 a.m. My cat realizes I'm awake and starts meowing like the Dickens until I feed her. And then I either successfully get back to sleep and then she realizes I'm asleep and leaves me alone. Or most of the time I, relent and I feed her. And then, she throws up like a lot of the time. Not a lot of the time, but she sometimes throws up, and then it's like, fuck, and then I gotta actually get up and clean it, and by the time I'm done cleaning it, I'm like awake, and I can't get back to sleep, so I'm up for the day. But lately, I've, I don't know, sometimes I'll feed her half of her food, because I think she just eats too fast, and then it, like, makes her throw up. I don't know. But, lately, I've been giving her half her food instead, and then after I actually get up, I give her the other half, so she can't eat too fast. And also, man, I've been getting this freeze dried chicken for her, where it's like dust. It's like dust chicken, where it looks like pieces of chicken that have been dehydrated, but it just crumbles into dust. And she likes that, but also you can just rehydrate it in cold or warm water. I'm sure she likes the warm water, but my water's on the fritz, so it's like hard to get warm water now. But you rehydrate it and then it like fucking looks like chicken. Like I haven't actually tried salting it and eating it or anything, but like I think it would be I don't think it would be good, but like once it's rehydrated, it feels like real chicken, like chicken out of the fridge or something, like legitimate actual chicken. And then she just goes absolutely apeshit for it. Anytime I move like a plastic container, she like her ears perk up because she thinks it's like me getting her chicken and stuff. And lately I've been, and also I give it to her after she throws up because I don't know. When she throws up, she doesn't immediately want to, eat more of the food that she threw up for obvious reasons. A lot of people, once they throw up, they're like, I can't fucking eat shrimp scampi anymore or something. It's like the same kind of thing. And also, it's just kind of gross to think about, and it's mean. Like, it seems like, I don't know. So oftentimes when she throws up, I try to change up her food, but now I just give her some of this chicken because it seems to, I've only seen her once in her life throw up vomit that included the chicken stuff into it. It might be the case that she has food allergies, and if so, she's probably not allergic to chicken. She's probably allergic to some of the other ingredients. I don't know. I just looked at her food. It was like supposed to be like tuna and chicken, and it turns out it's like got a billion fucking things in it, and not like chemicals. Like, it's got cranberries and herring, and just like it says chicken and tuna. I didn't know it would have fucking like 18 multi-grains or what, I don't know, whatever. People say that grains are bad for cats, but they're not bad for cats. It just sometimes cats are have allergies to those grains, and if that's the case, it's not good for those cats. But in general, people are like, I don't like grain in my pet food. It fucking doesn't matter. It's just nutrients. Calories are calories, unless there's like a specific food intolerance, which cats can have a lot of food intolerances. Anyway, she throws up, I clean it up, I try to go back to sleep, and then I wake up again, lately around 10, 11. I can sleep in now, which is great and also bad. Like, ever since I stopped smoking pot, I can sleep in, and basically my whole life I've never been able to sleep in, and I've been always like, oh, I guess it's just not something I can do, but it turns out to somehow be related to weed, because now I can sleep in. It's great, except it's like a double-edged sword, because then it's like, where'd the fucking day go? That's actually, you can't say that anymore, but it's fine. So get out of bed. Oh, one of the reasons I usually wake up is because Callie either turns on the TV really loud. She listens to TV so fucking loud, man. It's insane. Or she starts doing laundry, which I don't know. The thing is, it's not like she does anything. She doesn't like leave during the day. And she doesn't do so much laundry that it has to start this early. It used to, because the dryer used to be fucking broken as shit, because the vents, the what do you call those? The vents? The lint vents? I don't know. The vents were clogged full of lint because she would never change the lint trap, like, ever. I was like the only person that ever changed the lint trap. And when I first moved in, I was like, I think that the vents are clogged because it's taking way too long to dry anything. It used to take about 4 cycles to dry any single thing. So that's 4 hours of drying, just for a single load, even a single shirt. And because Callie was like, nah, it's not broken. It's just a small dryer. And I'm like, that's not what a small dryer would do. And again, I would put I like to test that hypothesis. I put a single shirt in there, and that would not dry in a less than 4 cycles. So I'm like, no, this is not right, And but she was like, it's not broken. I'm like, it is. This is undeniably broken. And do you think it's a coincidence that you never change the lint trap, and also the way the dryer works is the way it would be working or / not working without ever changing the lint trap? Could these be connected in any way? But eventually, I got the maintenance person or whatever to actually call in someone to look at it. And because I was like, I never think our dryer lines have ever been cleaned out. And I've been here for a while, and it's never happened. And I can't imagine that's safe, because that causes fires, and I'm sure you don't want this entire building to burn down because the dryer lines never get fucking cleaned. And I guess that logic actually spoke to their purse strings or whatever, because then they brought someone out. And anyway, since then, now the dryer fucking works like I fucking said it would. But I had to endure like 4 years of not being able to dry any. So I think like a part of it is just her habits are stuck in the days of, you would actually have to start at the crack of dawn in order to get 2 loads of laundry done in a single day, because it would take 8 hours to do 2 loads of laundry. But now it doesn't. And then she'll like leave the laundry at like noon and then won't touch it again until like 3. So it's like, you could have fucking waited until 11 And then wait, it's like it's not impacting the way you're doing this to fucking start this early. But anyway, so she starts making a ton of noise, and and then I will get breakfast, by which I mean I will leave the house to find something to eat, because anytime I cook, it's fucking ugh, it's not, I was I started cooking. I had my hands knee deep in raw chicken the other day, and then Callie was like, "Oh, were you gonna cook?" And I was like, "No, I am cooking. I am in the process of cooking." And she was like, "Because I was gonna cook." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm cooking. I'm here, chicken, knife. Like this is happening. It's not." She's like, "Yeah, I was gonna cook soup," and I was like, "Again, okay. Like, what do you want me to do about this? Do you want me to put the chicken back in the fridge, put all of my other things back where they go, vacate the kitchen, and then let you start cooking?" And I didn't say this because it just, to even say it out loud kind of makes me feel as insane as I'm sure she wants me to feel. And she's like, "It's because, I just start to feel sick when I don't eat." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, would have been good to think about that before I started cooking, maybe, and like just like multiple appeals, like emotional, logical appeals for me to just stop in the middle of what I'm doing and and let her cook. And I don't know. It's just, and that's not even the first time she's done that. It's like this really weird stance where because she wants something or something would be good for her, I'm just supposed to like completely abandon anything I want to do or any right I have to use our shared space and just like let her do what she wants. It's weird. At the laundry, for instance, if I'm trying to put laundry into the dryer or pull it out and she's trying to walk through the hallway, she'll just kind of push past me. But if she's doing laundry in the hallway and I'm like trying to get through the hallway, she's like, "I'll just be a second." It's like this really weird double standard that exists in a lot of aspects of our life together. I don't know, as roommates. But anyway, so cooking is one of my great joys. I talk about cooking. She's been out of town. I've been cooking like fucking mad. I made fried rice, suck shit. I made ham bone soup, amazing. I made balsamic vinegar salad dressing, also amazing. Like I probably cook a couple more things too, but I don't really have too much room left from all my leftovers in the fridge. But I love cooking, and it's something that I basically don't do more than like once every week, twice every week at the most, or like once every 2 weeks is more like common. And so, yeah, it's a bummer. And so I just leave the house and I get food. It's not like all food requires cooking, but I don't know. I'm past the point where I could just eat cereal. If I just eat cereal, I'll just need real food in like an hour or something, So I go find food. I drive around listening to podcasts. Sometimes if I'm on top of my game, but I haven't been doing it that much because I've been sleeping in more, and also just because it's been getting hotter. Sometimes I'll go on a hike or a walk, just trying to get like a tiny bit of exercise in, because I'm just bloating like a fucking pig at this point. I don't know. I got to be like 300 pounds at least. Got a big gross belly. I lost all that weight, and I gained it all back, but it's coming in differently. It's not, before it was like pretty evenly distributed, which isn't necessarily good, but it just looked a certain way, and now it's like my arms are still relatively skinny. My legs are still skinnier than they used to be, but I just have this giant fucking like fat ass, giant like fat guy stomach, and it sucks. Just because it's like, I don't know. I think you can kind of, when you see you just like a larger, thicker person, like I think it kind of hides it a little bit. You just kind of look big. But when, you have like skinny-ish arms and then just a giant bloated stomach, it's like, this is just depressing. It's like carrying around a beach ball everywhere. But that doesn't matter. I want to get a gym. Aerobic exercise sucks. It's all about weightlifting because that increases your basal metabolic rate or whatever the fuck. And so anyway, drive around, listen to podcasts, usually get home like around 2 hours later. Just drive for like a fucking hour. Because again, I don't like being like, I don't like all the noise that's being generated at the house. And sometimes I'll be like working on my Patreon stuff, and then she'll just like be on the like start talking on the phone and make even more noise than normal. It's like I can't. because like I have 2 sets of noise canceling headphones, one of which you provided to me. I have earplugs and none of them work. Like they're not enough to overcome the sheer noise. They help a lot, don't get me wrong. I've recently found out that when you start to doing laundry, I could just put in earplugs and go back to sleep. That was a huge like technological boost in my life. But I probably should have thought about that earlier, but who knows? I don't know. So I come home, by then it's probably about 1, 2 o'clock. And then I try to do Patreon stuff or whatever. If I'm not working on anything, I watch TV, or more likely I spend 2 hours on TikTok and my neck hurts really bad. And then, usually I'll stay like that until it's, quote, dinner time or whatever. And then I'll usually go find food again and, drive around some more because I'm already driving. Let's drive around. Like, it's hard for me to listen to podcasts unless I'm driving. This sucks. This whole podcast sucks. All of the podcasts have sucked, but this one absolutely sucks. And then I'll get home and, sometimes I'll stream on Twitch. Sometimes I'll just watch TV. Sometimes I'll work more on the Patreon and stuff. And then I'll go to sleep at a point, usually around 11. Lately, I've been staying up a lot later. Ever since I stopped smoking, caffeine hits me way, way harder. So like a lot of times I'll be foolish enough to have like a Coke with dinner. And then it's like I'm up until like 1 earliest. And that sucks. But, that probably helps me sleep in more or something. But so, that's what my days usually are. I've been watching anime. I watched Spy X Family, really good. I'm watching Ranking of Kings, really good. Just been watching anime lately. I don't know. I probably watched some stuff on Netflix too, but I can't remember what it is. But so that's what my day's like. Today I went to fucking Spoon and Pork, which is like a Filipino restaurant, I think, and they have these like deep fried giant pork bones, and like it's really fatty and it's fried, and the sauce is like this spicy garlic kind of tangy sauce. And oh boy, was it good. And I also tried their wings because I'm trying to find a place to get good wings because when they're crisp, they're so good, but if they don't like crispen up, they're not that good in my opinion. And this place, holy shit, these wings, holy shit. Like I got to come back to this place just for wings because they were so good. They're crispy as hell. And it was awesome. So that's what I did today. And I got back around 3. I got a late start today because, no one was home. So I didn't have to leave the house, flee the house. And so I got back, watched more anime. I turned it off. 5:20, just in time to get on the phone with you. This is a phone, right? Is that what this is?
Yes,
yes,
it is.
It's like, I guess you can't really see this, but hold on. Okay, so to make this work, you got to understand what phones used to look like in the olden days when they were on that box on the wall, But it kind of is kind of like talking into the earpiece, or I guess it would be kind of like this, right? You'd talk into the camera and then I don't know, you can't hear this. This is a bad idea. This is why I don't come up with bits on the fly. This is why I'm a writer, I'm not an improviser. I'm certainly not a fucking prop comedian. Jesus Christ, you guys. What the fuck?
You're the next Carrot Top. I'm sure of it.
I am the next Carrot Top. They call me Potato Top because I have brown hair and potatoes are brown. That's why they call me that. I had an idea before we started the show that I was like, I should just let Kevin do all the talking, do the whole show, and I'll just kind of, anytime there's a lull, I'll just kind of wait until Kevin says something and just kind of force him to do the show. And I really wish I would have done that because all of this has sucked. This sucks.
I like getting a peek into your life.
Yeah, I'm sure the audience does as well. I'm sure they're like, "Oh my god!" I'm sure Spencer's problems are legitimate and not just him blowing things out of proportion.
Today I went to pick up some food from this restaurant. Have you been to any of the restaurants where they use the robots to bring stuff out to your table yet?
No, I fucking hate robots. I would rather go to the counter. even behind the counter or the pickup window and grab the plate myself than like have a robot do it. Like it's not that it's like I need someone to serve it to me and I demand it's a human rather than a robot, but it's like, if you're going to roll this fucking robot over to me, I'll just grab it. Like, I'll just go get it. I'm fine with that. I don't need this weird little robot. Are they programmed? They must be programmed, right? It can't be like remote controlled. That would just be insane. It would be so much less effort just to fucking walk it out, right?
Right. I mean, the way that it worked was, and I just picked up food, but you sit down at the table, you scan a QR code on your phone, you place the order entirely on your phone, and then when they're ready to bring stuff to you, like the robot's like person size tall with just a bunch of shelves in the front of it. So the kitchen loads it up with food, tells it go to table 12, and it drives there for you and just waits for you to take everything off.
Right.
But also, if you're there to pick up food, it says you don't see a person the entire time. You're like, I don't know if this is like a COVID thing or if this is just they want to not hire staff, but you don't see a person the whole time you're there. Like when you go to pick something up, you on your phone say, I'm here now. And it says, okay, stand at spot 2 and the robot will bring your food out to you. But when I was there, sorry, what?
It goes outside?
No, you have to go inside and kind of like wait by the door. But when I was there were like 4 other people waiting for their food and not standing in the right place. So the robot with my food starts coming towards me, but it can't get to me because there's these people blocking it. And the robot keeps very politely going, please move, please, behind you, I'm trying to get through. Like it's got like 30 different things it tries to say to get you to move, and these guys were just ignoring it. And so the robot couldn't get to me, and then eventually it gives up and turns around and went back to the kitchen with my food. So I had to go bang on the door until someone came out and brought me my food.
That's wild. That's such a failure of that system. Well, it's not a failure of that system. It's a failure of humanity. Let's be honest. I
felt like that the people there were just deliberately I'm not going to do what a robot tells me. Like, it's not they weren't aware of it. It's not that they didn't hear it. They kept looking at it and going, no, I'm not going to do that for you. Yeah. So it kind of just dejectedly went back with my food.
Yeah. I mean, what can it do? It's not like if it tried to roll into the person, even if the person didn't violently assault it, which they almost certainly would, it would lose that battle. Its wheel would go up on their foot and it would lose its balance and fall over. It can't, there's nothing it could do. Was there a reason why you didn't go over to it? Were you not sure?
They were kind of blocking my way too, but also it had those little glass door things that don't open up until it gets to where it wants to go.
Okay.
So you can't just go pick your food up until it decides it's giving it to you.
Jesus Christ, man. People are so shitty. I was going to rant about how people have no situational awareness, which is something I've noticed ever since I was a little kid. Just like people don't have a sense when someone's coming up behind them or whatever. Like it's just no one knows what they're looking at. It's insane. And it's pissed me off because it just causes so many problems. Obviously traffic jams happen and stuff, but so many traffic situations pop up because someone just doesn't see the people on the road. They're like, I'm the main character. I'm the only person that exists. I'm just going to swerve everywhere and fuck everyone else. I'm not even thinking about that. It's not even fuck everyone else. It's just they do not have the capacity to understand that other people exist and are existing in the space around them. Even if you think, I feel like even if they saw those people, they still wouldn't connect the dots. Oh, this person is on the road and they are driving their car in the same direction as me. I just don't think they can understand that. But that seems more deliberate, which is another problem with the world. Yeah, people just which is another thing. I suck. I'm a bad person. I don't assert myself. I'm sure my roommate would deal with a lot of the stuff if I were able to calmly communicate it to her the same way I communicate it to the audience behind her back. But I don't. But one of the things is I don't like being in the way. I don't like being in people's ways. And that leads me to get out of the way and to notice if I'm in the way or I'm potentially in the way and then preemptively get out of the way. If I see someone 30 feet down, I'll get out of the way right now because I know they're going to keep going and then I will eventually be in their way. And it takes me literally a single step. This is not a trait that 90+% of people I've encountered have. I don't understand why it's so difficult. It seems very easy. I think it's just, they don't care is a huge part of it. Why should I move out of the way? But, I don't know.
I mean,
But yeah, like I was saying, it seems more deliberate. People just being pieces of shit. Which why be what? You know, the robot's trying to do something to another person. Like it's trying to help someone. It's not just like cruising around doing a fun dance. Like it has a task it's trying to do, and you're inhibiting another person from being the recipient of that task. I don't know. What were you gonna say? I cut you off again.
no, I mean, I'm really patient for a lot of things of like, if there's a traffic jam or someone's not taking a turn when they could and I'm stuck behind them, like my brain immediately goes to, okay, there's something I don't see, like there's a baby bird in the road and I'm not seeing it, or they're a really new driver and they're nervous and I don't want to honk my horn and pressure them if they're already having a bad time. But the thing that actually like legitimately upsets me is 50% of the people in grocery stores do not know how to drive a cart. They either are blocking, like they'll turn it perpendicular and block the entire aisle, or they will leave the cart somewhere and then go wander off to the other side of the store, blocking things up. And there's sort of that social taboo of you don't touch somebody else's cart, but at the same time, they're in the way. And but grocery stores upset me, especially ones with narrow aisles where you can't deal with people who don't know how to manage it.
Yeah, and you know where that's the fucking worst is fucking Trader Joe's. You would swear to God they literally are incapable of seeing human beings by the way people exist in the aisles at Trader Joe's. It's the most infuriating fucking thing on the planet. But yeah, like I do get road rage now. Not like full blown road rage, but I get pissed. For most of my driving career, I did not. But all that rage would come out in what I would call pedestrian road rage. Like if people were walking really slow, or like 5 people are just taking up the whole sidewalk and stuff, it would piss me off so much because it's like, fucking, there's no need for any of this. You have to just think it's a good idea to block the sidewalk to be doing this. This is not how any functioning normal person would think to conduct themselves on a sidewalk, and in school and stuff, I would always try and cutting through people who are walking slow, just trying to get to places faster. I've always been a fast walker and I'm pretty tall, so I think I just have a faster pace than most people, but but now I get road rage and stuff, but it just always would piss me off so much. It's like we live in a society, like we're part of this is acknowledging and not getting in the way of other people to the extent that we can. You don't want to block things off. You don't want to cut someone off because, they deserve, we all have like a right to exist in this space. It's not like you have the right to monopolize it over all else. It's not your space. It's our space. You're not, I don't know. It's just, but yeah, that shit pisses me off so much, man, especially fucking shopping carts and stuff. I don't use shopping carts. I usually use the shopping basket. I mean, I don't have to buy too much groceries at a single time. And I've been getting fucking into the cart lately because I'm not going inside stores. I'm too terrified, but I just can maneuver a lot better with a basket. I can like squeeze between things and stuff. And I if I'm at a cart, I can push the cart. I don't have to like go in front of my car and push their cart. I can actually just move around and stuff. And that's a big part of it, is just because like, A, I don't want to be in other people's ways, but B, it's just like, it's a fucking zoo. Like I can't like, people would think it was their job to block an aisle so that none can pass. And if you have the audacity to try and squeeze by, they'll shoot daggers at you like they're fucking like, how dare you try and get the rice off the top shelf? Like, what are you thinking? Like, you think this is some store open to the public? But it's I fucking hate it. I don't know. You got any other pet peeves?
People who waste each other's time, which is a very similar kind of thing right there, of like, I'm really busy, but I will make as much time as I possibly can for anybody who needs something, so if you, I don't care if I'm swamped with work, Spencer, you call me at 3 a.m, when I'm up to my ears in work, I'm going to drop what I'm doing and help you. But people who do things like, hey, I need to meet you here at this time. And I'm like, okay, I'm really busy today, but yes, I'll do that. I'm going to meet you here right at noon. And then they show up at 2:00 or something, where I've like cleared my schedule and now I don't have time to rearrange it and things like that. That really bugs me. Just, it's the same idea though behind the people with the carts, just that obliviousness to your effects on other people, that for me, that's a big one.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm pretty punctual. I think, it's not like I've never been late, and I think I've probably been slipping more recently than I used to. But, and also, I don't know, sometimes I have anxiety, and so it's like, I'm like, I'm just trying to get out of something, and then it's like 30 minutes later, I'm like, well, I haven't actually texted them that I'm not going to make it, so I should probably go, so that I'm late and stuff. So it's not like I'm a perfect person in this regard. But yeah, I like being on time, and it blows my mind when people like aren't on time or consistently aren't on time. It's like, I mean, this is a place you've been before. You started at a place you've been before. You know how long it takes. Even with traffic, you understand traffic, the concept of traffic, rush hour, timing wise, how traffic is going to affect. Like, it doesn't seem that hard. Like, I don't know. And also, but the other part of it is like, I usually am early or even relatively early. Like sometimes I'm even like 20 minutes early and stuff. And I understand how people with shit to do can't like assume they're fine with being 20 minutes early. And it's not always nice to be, or not nice, but it's not always like ideal to be 20 minutes early and they're just waiting around, and stuff. So I kind of get that. But at the same time, it's just like fucking, you just have to add time. Just be like, okay, I keep being places 30 minutes late. Maybe I'll just try leaving 30 minutes early. It's like, it's not complicated. It's just a very minor thought and effort. But I don't know.
I find that a lot harder in Los Angeles, though, just because of how unpredictable traffic is there compared to a lot of other places. There have been times where, like, I look how long Google Maps says it's going to take. I add 50% to that, and I'm still late. Do you find that, or am I just bad at LA right now?
Well, I'm sure a lot of it comes from not being familiar with the areas where like the choke points and traffic and stuff. But part of that is, a lot of times, depending on the place, like it's any place that should be 5 to 10 minutes away is like going to take 30 minutes. And any place that should be 30 minutes almost always is going to take an hour. So there's kind of like simple calculations like that. And then the other thing is just like most of the time you can drive, and most of the time you would drive, are really bad traffic. So if you can schedule around not being on the road or on the freeway during those times, you can get more consistent times. But yeah, like I had to drive Dan around all the time, so I was really good. It's not like I would be perfect, but I was pretty good at like being like, yeah, this is going to take an extra 40 minutes. This is definitely going to take 2.5 hours, even though by all rights this is a 40-minute drive, And it sucked, but like getting to the airport, getting to Santa Monica, getting back from Santa Monica, all these things can like often take like 2.5 hours if you're at the times where they always happen. Like a meeting in Santa Monica with networks and stuff is like always at 4:00. And so you can usually get down there in about an hour 20, and then like it's going to take like straight up 3 hours to get home, and it's a fucking nightmare. But that's the only time they'll schedule those meetings, because they're pieces of shit who live in fucking Beverly Hills, and they don't give a fuck that you have to come, from Burbank or whatever, which is like the worst trek in LA. But yeah, there's rules that you start to pick up, and if you kind of glow with the traffic. Also, I like surface streets. I'm sure that surface streets are slower than the freeway, but with traffic, they're kind of comparable. So if you're used to going places via surface streets, I think you have a better understanding of how long it actually takes to go places, just because it just closer conforms to what it would be with traffic, even though, again, it's like a place shouldn't take this long to get to, but it does because of traffic in LA and people being fucking idiots and stuff. And then also, if you know surface streets, you sometimes know where if things start getting bad, I can get off here and then I can get back on there, and I know how long that's going to take. So, you recalculate pretty quick, and oftentimes it's better for the major choke points and stuff. So I don't know. But I like surface streets. I just like driving, it's fun to drive. Can't do it anymore. Although they've been saying that gas price has been going down. I don't know. The thing is, like, it's all fucked. Like, I don't know. I understand the answer to this, so don't at me, whatever. Like, I understand it, but it's like people say that like, it's just inflation. It's the prices are going up. But if prices are going up, then gasoline wouldn't be $6.70 here, and then if you drive into Van Nuys, it's $6.20. Like Van Nuys is not suffering differing levels of inflation and like different costs of oil and trucks as fucking, Burbank. It's all just, that's just like supply and demand and price gouging and stuff. So it's like all this stuff. It's like, it's not adequately explained by inflation and stuff, but I've been beating the drum. That's like, it's very clear price gouging. It's just, they know they can get away with this. What are we going to do? Not get gas? And, people do make adjustments to price changes and stuff, but usually those adjustments lag pretty heavily. So even if they know, eventually people are going to stop getting gas, they're going to be like, yeah, but it'll take like 6 months or something before that other shoe starts to drop. Whatever. It's so fucked, you guys. Everything's so fucked. This week I was just like, man, we're so doomed. Not even in like the Nazi context necessarily, just like in the scope and extent of our problems, and then the scope and extent of like who is trying to solve the problems and what they're capable of is just this massive gulf. Like, even if we'll just like, manage to get rid of all the Nazis and stuff, and which would magically rid us of like at least 60% of the Republican Party, even if we could do that, like, it's still just so many things that have to get done. Like, I don't know, but I listened to a podcast about police brutality that I've listened to before, and it just like, I just felt so hopeless. It's like it's like court cases are fucked. All the courts, even before the courts got like super stacked by Trump, they were fucked before. They were super conservative and stuff, and now like the Supreme Court, there's nothing we can do without like packing the court, expanding the Supreme Court, and that's just not an option. Like we'd really have to get a lot more Senate, and to do that we'd have to beat a lot of gerrymanders, and to beat/get rid of the gerrymanders we would have to take the state houses, which is even more stacked against us. It's just like the extent of what has to be done. It's like 50 fucking impossible tasks one after another without a single setback. It's just like the weight of that was just really hitting me today. But you know what else the weight of is about to hit me is I have to take a shit. No, see, you thought I was going to go for soda, right? But then I talked about taking a shit. No, but I am actually. We are going to do soda. You got the soda, Kevin?
Yes, I do. Which one do you want to try first?
Okay, so talk us through this one. You got this one?
We grabbed that from the fridge.
Kevin is grabbing something from the fridge. And another thing about Kevin, you guys, is he's wearing headphones that are wireless, and he can hear everything I'm saying. But at the same time, you got to understand. Oh, he took off the headphones. Jesus Christ. Wait, were you wearing headphones, or does I was not. You having headphones the whole time? No, I could have swore I saw you had a gamer headset when we started with like a microphone, and I was like, I know he's not talking into his gamer headset microphone. Why is he wearing this whole thing? Just entirely fabricated by my fucked up brain. Amazing, incredible. Check out the video so you can see that Kevin's not wearing headphones.
I'm gonna start doing that, just subtly changing stuff every few seconds until
that's I think would be really fun. Like, I think that would be cool. And then you can, when the show goes live in the tweet, you could be like, see, find the 7 differences in the video or whatever, like a highlights cover. Anyway, what were you just saying?
Okay, so this drink here is the one you want to try first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this, but there's a fruit in some Southeast Asian countries called durian, which I believe it grows in Indonesia and the Philippines and Thailand, like around that area, that is well known for being probably one of the smelliest foods possible. As in, like, buses have signs up that just specifically say you cannot eat durian on this bus. It's a pervasive smell that if you've ever smelled once, you'll never forget. And
have you smelled it?
Yes, it's hard to explain. It's just powerful. A hint of rot, but also like a sickeningly sweet undertone to that.
So you'd say it's not bussin'?
The smell is not, but apparently, and I've never eaten it, but apparently once you eat it though, the smell kind of dissipates to you, and you're just focused on the flavor, which is actually pretty good. Like, people make ice cream with it, and people make all these things that like makes you very unpopular with everybody around you, but if you're all eating it, you're fine.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sure this is a very widely understood phenomenon. Like, you leave the house and you come home and you're like, man, it smells like cat shit.
So I just looked
tuned it out.
Yeah, I looked up a description that is listed as a combination of rotten onions, turpentine, and raw sewage, or alternatively, vomit-flavored custard.
Sure. Yeah. Custard is something that keeps coming back. Now, I never thought of onions as rotting. I know they can, but it's like I can't summon that smell. And I don't know.
I had a bag of onions that got lost in my pantry at one point, and that's not a good smell. It's no longer onion. It's just like rotting vegetable. Yeah. Like the bottom of a hot trash can that was left outside that had something drip into it. That kind of smell.
And so you wanted us to consume this for some reason.
Well, I wanted to actually send you some durian fruit and have us both try it on the show. But as we both thought about that more, that didn't seem like a great idea. So I found some...
Callie was out of town. It would have been so great to post up and do the show in her room, crack open a nice durian, and flee the country for a week.
I feel like Callie might not want to work with me ever again if I did that. But yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, with soda, they wouldn't necessarily, especially if they were trying to match the flavor, and the flavor is a little bit different than the smell. Like, they wouldn't have to have any of those scent notes, right? Do you think it's gonna smell like a durian? You think it's gonna taste bad, or what? What are your expectations going into this?
Honestly, I don't think it's gonna smell bad. I think it's just gonna taste sort of like a fruity soda. But I think I'd almost be happier to find out that it does reek, but I want to find out.
All right. So, yeah, I want to crack her open.
Why don't you go first? I want to see your facial expression.
Oh boy. I need to. Here we go.
Okay. So Spencer is trying very hard to open the bottle with his shirt. It's like a screw off bottle cap.
Well, it got all over my shirt.
Okay.
So you are going to want to be careful, because I didn't, you know how you can open bottles slowly so that they don't start fizzing and spattering everywhere? I did that, and yet it did spatter. So be warned.
Okay.
I can't imagine that won't happen. Maybe it will. This has been sitting for a long time without being like really disturbed. So it's not like, I don't know. Let's try this again. I think I got through the carbonation, but that means it is carbonated. It kind of seems like vigorously carbonated. No, it does have, what would you call this? The smell is mildly bad. Yeah, it does. It's kind of like, I don't think this smells like rot, but it does smell like a plant that's supposed to smell bad. Like sometimes there's like plants that smell bad. Just in nature, like if you're on a hike or something, I don't know. And it smells kind of like that. I would like to get more specific. You want to crack yours open, or are you afraid now that it's danger time?
Okay. Oh, no, that is bad. That is, I wouldn't call that food. It's a very chemically kind of smell.
To me, there's a little bit of rubber eraser, kind of.
Yeah, like a
little hint.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like I have this memory of some kind of like children's medicine as a kid that this sort of smells like.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on exactly what it is, but like,
I know
when you were a kid and you got the prescription pink, like before they had the nice flavors for it, you know? That just does not smell good at all. No.
Then cough syrup? What kind of pink liquid are you talking about?
Like when you got antibiotics as a kid or something, you know, like the liquidy pink prescription something.
Yeah, to me it kind of tastes kind of or it smells kind of chalky. Like it's not overwhelmingly chalky, but there's kind of like this dusty kind of note to it.
Yeah, it feels musty, old. Okay, so Spencer's like really just digging his nose in there.
Yeah, I just want to like I'm just pissed that I can't like put better words to it. You know, it's
not a describable. But it definitely has an old feel to it.
There's a bit of floral to me too, like a bit of like natural kind of flower kind of scent, like but just enough to make it corrupt it and make it wrong. You know.
Yeah,
I believe it's all over my fucking shirt.
Yeah, no, I
wonder if I have COVID. It's not smelling super strong to me.
No, I have to put it up to my nose to really smell it, but it
is bad. It's undeniably bad.
Yeah, it is not something I associate with food.
Man, how long have we been talking about?
Yeah. Okay, go
smell
for it.
that can't describe.
Some great podcasting here. Okay, try some.
I mean, I told you guys it would suck. Hold on. Yeah, it tastes. It tastes like it smells. It's not as strong. Again, it's not as strong as I would have expected. But it just has this very mildly kind of Sprite taste. But most of what actually hits you is this kind of scent note, which is a bit. It's not even bitter. It's like rotten. I guess it's like spoiled smell, spoiled flavor. But it's like it hits as a scent note. You know how there's like you have your basic taste, and then you have all these scent notes, and those create more complicated flavors, like wintergreen, for instance. That's like scent. Or garlic is, an aromatic. It's not like it's activating your tongue. It's activating like scent receptors in your nose or whatever the fuck. I don't know how that works. But you want to go for it?
Okay. I'm going to have a sip.
Kevin's dead. Kevin just died.
Okay. It doesn't taste as bad as it smells by a long shot. But then the smell comes back as soon as you swallow, and then I don't like it anymore.
Yeah. So it's like, I just took a sip there. And what happens is the liquid goes in my mouth, and I can feel like the vapors rise out of the liquid, and that air that's in my mouth, that smells like the soda. And it's like, that's what hits you, is this kind of vapory scent note. Because again, the soda is very weak flavor wise. Like it's kind of like a mild citrus. It says, carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, flavoring, which is presumably durian flavoring, and then citric acid. So it's like, it's a very basic citric acid kind of flavor profile. And then this weird scent on top of it, which again, I wish I could describe because
it's almost like a paint thinner kind of smell a little bit, or like brake cleaner or something.
Well, that would be the turpentine note.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got it on this sip. I definitely got that. Like, it tasted, like astringent chemicals, kind of like paint thinner, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to close this bottle. Normally, as we're trying these, I leave them all open and keep re-sipping, and I think I'm going to close this one.
I'm just happy that I feel like I can... No, I still won't. I was going to say, I feel like I can actually just pour this in the toilet or something without like worrying about it ruining my house. But I think I will still just throw this outside.
Do you have the other bottle, this one?
No, I mean, can you cover? I could go look. And actually, I don't know what it was, but this is like the third time I've looked for this, and this is the first time I've succeeded. But every time I straight up haven't been able to find it. It's like, for some reason, it's elusive. It's hard to find. What is that bottle though?
So this is made by the same company, the same thing, but this is supposed to be like the polar opposite. So this is peach flavored. This is Japanese. And it's got the exact same ingredient list. It's just basically carbonated water and corn syrup and flavoring and citric acid. So it on paper, this is the same thing. But the place that I got this from said that, this is one of the best smelling, best tasting. Like the reviews for this kind were amazing. The peach one, which is such a stark contrast to the durian one.
Yeah, I found it, and I am going to have to dock it points because it's not cold. I don't know why they would ship beverages that are lukewarm like this, but okay. So, do you want to try it? I'm gonna
sure. Let's crack it open and do a quick smell here. So,
I capped it before it went crazy.
Oh, yeah, mine exploded. Wow. Okay.
I know my pain.
So these are all from, like I mentioned last week, a store called Yummy Bazaar. I can't get this open. YummyBazaar.com has all of these plus a bunch of other drinks. They're not a sponsor. They just had a bunch of really cool stuff. Oh, I got this all over my shirt. Okay. So
I've been timing it well enough to close it back up before it goes too crazy.
Okay, this
you ever
does
do
smell...
the thing where you put your mouth over the whole thing so it just explodes in your mouth, and then it's inevitably not enough, so then you just kind of like drool it all over yourself,
or it comes out your nose, and yeah. So okay, I'm gonna say this doesn't smell as good as I was expecting. I was expecting some something much nicer to complement what we just tried.
Right. When you were saying that, I was like, well, it's like a peach flavored beverage, right? So it's it's going to smell like peach. It's not like heavenly. Peaches smell good. To me, this smells better than you're describing. Like if I heard someone to describe it, and I heard you describe it, and then I were to smell it, like I really like this smell. It's very good. I would love a shampoo that kind of has this scent or something. I'm really digging it, but I get what you mean. It's not heavenly in any sense.
Like I was expecting more like clearly Canadian peach. That just has this, like, the moment you crack a clear Canadian open, the whole room smells like whatever you're gonna drink. This is a lot more subtle, but it's not bad.
Clear Canadian. What's clear Canadian?
They came in the glass bottles. They were like clear, watery drinks, fizzy, but with they were really popular like in the 90s, but they just came back.
Whoa.
Hold on. I'm gonna put a picture up for Spencer.
Oh,
that will probably jog his memory, and then I'm going to add this to the podcast.
I don't think it will jog my memory, but I appreciate your gumption.
Those bottles do anything for you?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
They look
okay.
Awesome, though. I wish I knew about these because I would have had a good childhood then.
In the 90s, at least where I grew up, every gas station had these.
If you
and
know
they
what
were
this bottle is, your childhood was awesome. Like one of those Instagram memes or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to go first or me?
Yeah, let me just want to set this time. Okay.
So he goes first for the good tasting beverage. It is interesting how that works.
Okay, this actually tastes just like clearly Canadian peach. This is exactly like that. So it's a reference lost on you, but it is very much clearly Canadian peach.
Yeah, the flavor is good. I wish there was like more to it. Like you said, it was kind of this kind of watery or whatever. Like it's kind of subtle. It's buried. The flavor is buried in there a little bit, but it's a good flavor. It's like, again, like I like soda because it has this like pretty strong syrupy top notes that like really smack you in the ass with flavor or whatever, there you go. Episode title. But yeah, it is a really nice flavor, and the scent is really good. A lot of times, like the scent notes are pretty weak. It's not like a fully realized flavor. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a nice subtle peach that kind of reminds me of a lot of the other Japanese sodas we've tried, where it's a very accurate flavor, but not a very strong flavor.
Yeah, not overtly, sugary. It's a lot more tangy. Like you'd say, like it tastes almost like cut with sparkling water or something. Like it's not flavored sparkling water, but it has a closer character to that. Except I guess the texture is definitely more of like a syrupy soda texture, but a lot of it is kind of like, the kind of bitter bubble kind of sparkling water flavor, carbonated water flavor, and then sour. There's a lot of sour, and then these kind of peach scent notes, so to speak. I don't know, man.
I love your descriptions of flavors because they're so much more nuanced than mine. I feel like you're like the Hemingway of tasting sodas here.
Yeah, thanks so much. I don't know. I'd love to be like a food critic. Like I think I could do a decent job at that. Food is like truly one. Like this is sad. Like this is sad to say, but in trying to inspect and investigate my life, interrogate my life, and see like what makes me happy and stuff, like truly food, cooking, eating is like one of the only joys I have in life, which is another reason why I'm so terrified of COVID. Like the idea of like having any long-term disruption to like taste and smell to me is just like, that's it. That's all. Like that's the only thing that's not like an addiction, and it is kind of an addiction, but it's the only thing that's not just like me wasting hours on TikTok, wasting hours on Instagram, wasting hours on video games, wasting hours on Discord. It's like it's the only thing that actually feels like kind of healthy and joyous, if that makes any sense. And and so I guess I should try and figure out something to do with food, because if I feel like that about one thing and literally nothing else in my life, maybe go in that direction, right? I don't know. But I have a Patreon and I do food reviews and no one watches them and no one likes them. So, maybe not. Maybe that's not the pathway. Maybe I got to figure out something else. But who's to say? I'm sure no one likes any of the other stuff I do on Patreon either. So it's probably about even. But yeah, I don't know. We tried some sodas. We got some more sodas, but I don't know. I don't know how much time we have left.
We have 1 second left.
usually there's some sort of sound cue that tells us how much time we have left. But yeah, I don't know. But Kevin says we have 1 second left, but who knows? He's a fucking liar. Oh yeah, no, okay, no, he was right. It turns out that we're out of time. So what? Twitch.tv/thesixler, Patreon.com/thesixler. We're just coming in. Oh my god, we're coming on the end of the pie contest. Everyone has voted on pies. The winner will be crowned, and the next cooking competition will be developed post haste. And you ever drowned before, Kevin?
No, thankfully no. Have you?
Yep. No, I haven't. I'm actually good at swimming, but that's our show. I don't know. I feel like there's more to plug, but there's not. Frank Howley, twitch.tv/Frank Howley. No, we're off for 3 weeks. We do a D&D game on Twitch's on Frank's stream. It's a lot of fun. They just I rumored this before, but we just they went last week. They went to Spencer's Gifts, where they met a character named Spencer who exchanged gifts with them. It was a lot of fun. It's a fun his stream is great. You should check out his stream. It's way better than mine. But it's also, if you want D&D content, that's kind of the only thing I'm doing right now that's D&D content. But we are off for 3 weeks. But there is a YouTube link, which I'm not going to post. Find it yourself. Frank Howley has a YouTube, and you can watch the D&D episodes there too if you want. Anyway, what about you, Kevin?
If you're watching this live, thank you. No one did that today for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you're watching this live on StrabHomeVideo.com, coming up next is the Best of Channel 101, actually with Callie hosting it tonight. It's pre-recorded, but Callie. And then after that is Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade, Willie, and Aaron, and their guest is Martin Olson, followed by an all-new Cyberpunk Megazone that Rob Schraub made. So check that out live. If you are kind of in the middle of stuff and not watching all of it today, we replay it all on Mondays. And if you missed that completely, it's too bad because we don't show this stuff a second time usually. So check us out next week at StrabHomeVideo.com on Sunday, starting at 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern.
And folks, do check out the Mondays, the Monday re-record, restream, whatever, rebroadcast. Just show up. It's important to make your voice heard and to show up on those days. Kevin keeps talking about how he's going to get rid of the Monday stream because no one watches it. And he also laments that he has to do it because these fucking Europeans. He says it, the derision in his voice, it'll chill you to the core when he says this. But Europeans are at it again. The Europeans are at it again. It's worth checking out if you miss it. I should do a better job of plugging it and stuff. Well, this sucks. This whole thing sucks. We gotta really take a good look at what we're doing and give up, I think. But as always, we like to end the podcast the same way every single time. And so until next time. Hey folks, I'm Jeff Davis.
Starburns Audio.